Have you ever wondered why, across centuries and civilizations, certain teachings were kept secret? And why some forms of knowledge were reserved for only those who had undergone a special initiation? From the temple rites of ancient Egypt to the quiet chambers of Freemasonry, mystery schools and secret societies have acted as guardians of wisdom, not because they were elitist, but because they believe that truth, especially sacred truth, requires preparation. Today we're exploring how ancient initiatory traditions like the Eleusinian mysteries of Greece, the Hermetic texts of Alexandria, and the symbolic rituals of Freemasonry form a vast interwoven tapestry of esoteric systems. The origins of Western esoteric traditions can be traced symbolically to ancient Egypt, where priesthoods, particularly within the cult of Osiris, employed ritual drama, myth, and sacred architecture to convey teachings about the soul, the cosmos, and divine order. These symbolic and initiatory frameworks appear to have influenced the emergence and evolution of Greek mystery traditions, most notably the Eleusinian mysteries, which likely began around 1500 BCE and were later formalized in the Archaic period, alongside the rites of Dionysus and Orpheus, all of which used mythic drama and sacramental ritual to express themes of death, rebirth, and spiritual transformation. Initiates like Pythagoras and Plato, each recorded as an initiate of the Eleusinian mysteries, helped carry this wisdom into philosophy. They described the soul's journey toward truth, harmony, and the divine, connecting abstract principles with lived experience. During the Roman period, mystery traditions such as those of Isis and Mithras incorporated their own ritual mythologies, further enriching the symbolic languages of spiritual transformation. These mystery schools flourished in the Roman world, offering initiates transformative rituals rooted in mythic death and rebirth, like their earlier Greek predecessors. During the Hellenistic and early Roman periods, esoteric systems such as Hermeticism, Gnosticism, and early Kabbalah emerged, emphasizing spiritual liberation through inner revelation, symbolic interpretation, and experiential knowledge of the divine. Neoplatonism later systematized many of these spiritual ideas, with thinkers like Plotinus articulating a layered cosmology in which the soul ascends from material entrapment toward unity with the divine source, synthesizing earlier mystical, philosophical, and religious currents into a comprehensive metaphysical vision. So why the secrecy? Why use symbols instead of just using plain explanations? Rather than being elitist or exclusionary, esoteric systems use secrecy to protect sacred knowledge from misunderstanding or misuse, ensuring that initiatory teachings are transmitted only to those properly prepared to receive and internalize their symbolic and transformative meanings. As Frances Yates demonstrated in her work on Renaissance Hermeticism, and as Gershom Scholem emphasized in the study of Kabbalah, symbolic traditions allowed truths to survive, even when religious or political authorities tried to suppress them. And those symbols, still visible today on things as ordinary as currency or national monuments, did not disappear. Instead, they evolved. But not everyone welcomed these teachings. As Christianity gained power, church and state saw them as dangerous. Independent spiritual paths were labeled heretical, mystery schools were closed, texts were lost or destroyed, and initiates were persecuted. Still, parts of these systems survived through medieval alchemy, Jewish and Christian mysticism, and Islamic philosophy. The Renaissance marked a pivotal resurgence of interest in Antiquity's spiritual and philosophical heritage, particularly through figures like Marsilio Ficino, who translated key Hermetic texts into Latin and reinterpreted them within a Neoplatonic framework, helping to integrate ancient esoteric ideas into the evolving intellectual and religious discourse of early modern Europe. This revival not only preserved older traditions, but also catalyzed their transformation into new systems of thought, laying the groundwork for later currents in Western esotericism. This revival occurred while symbolic societies such as the Rosicrucians emerged in the 17th century. By the 18th century, Freemasonry had adapted these ideas into ritual frameworks that emphasized moral development and symbolic transformation. At first glance, these traditions might seem disconnected, some pagan, some Christian, some philosophical, but they all share something essential. They emphasize symbolic language, ritual progression, and the common goal of inner transformation. Scholars like Antoine Faivre, Gershom Scholem, and Francis Yates have shown us that behind the symbols and rituals was a vision, that deeper meaning could be found beneath the surface, and that real wisdom is not just learned but lived. Even today, these teachings echo in modern esoteric groups, spiritual movements, and alternative philosophies that continue to emphasize direct experience, inner work, and symbolic understanding. Antoine Faivre, leading French scholar of Western esotericism, writes, "These societies, often cloaked in ritual and secrecy, functioned not merely as social structures, but as vessels for transmitting ethical, philosophical, and cosmological teachings that were and are considered too profound or too sacred for general dissemination." Albert Pike, in Morals and Dogma, written 1871, adds, "The mysteries are the beginning of all philosophy, being the core symbolic teachings of the universal, eternal, immutable religion, such as God planted in the heart of universal humanity." Mystery schools and secret societies weren't just collections of strange symbols and secret handshakes. They were tools for transformation. Their rituals, their myths, and their teachings offered an initiatory path to personal and spiritual growth. Whether in ancient sanctuaries, Renaissance libraries, or modern lodges, these traditions preserved a current of insight that flowed beneath official religion, a quiet but powerful reminder that sacred truth often whispers rather than shouts. So if the initiates of old were right, these deeper truths were never truly hidden. They've always been there, waiting for those who are ready to seek them.